everyone, I'm Fozzie, your Cam, and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How you doing today, Will?
I am doing great, Cam, and I would just like to say on my behalf, welcome to California, welcome to the home of the Golden State Warriors, welcome to the home of welcome to the area where there are so many vineyards because wine is just so popular out here. That's why people come all this way. This on my behalf, welcome to California. I'm doing great, and how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, and we're at Napa River right now. As you guys can see in the background, we're doing a little outdoors podcast, which is awesome. And there's probably going to be a bunch of bikers driving by watching us podcast, but it's okay. But we're both really happy to be here for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Yeah, I could get used to doing these podcasts in California. So far, the amount of time that I've been here, I've really enjoyed it here. I like the whole scene here. I like palm trees, and I've seen a few palm trees here. When we drove through San Francisco, we saw palm trees, and right over there I see some too. So that has me excited. Yeah, there's some of mine that I like. And it's because I'm from Boston area, and it's a lot different than here. It's less green in some areas, but it's beautiful here, and I really like it. And we went out to eat at a place tonight. What was the name?
This might shock you, Cam. This will shock you. I can't believe I'm hearing myself say this. I'm ashamed to hear myself say this. That was my first time going to that place.
Okay.
That was one of the rare places here in Napa that I have not been to. That was my first time there, but I had a very positive experience. How about you?
So did I. I wish we knew the name of the place that we went. But whatever it was called, it was fantastic. It had like a whole outdoor food area. You could pick where you sat. And the food was fantastic. I got a cheeseburger. You just got fries, right?
I did.
Yeah. How are your fries?
Excellent. And, let me ask this. On the topic of going out to eat and restaurants, let me ask this. What for you is your ideal restaurant? What is like a place where you're going out to eat and you're like, this is the type of place where I want to go out to eat?
Well, all right. So I like well, you get restaurants that are I guess fancier, more upscale, which obviously you have to like because of how fancy it is, and the food's obviously going to be good. But I also like a place maybe like a takeout place where you can just get like a sub, but the sub is like the best sub you've ever had in your life, but they only make subs at that restaurant. And like specialty restaurants almost. I like that. There are a lot of places near me that are like that. And I can really appreciate when a restaurant has one thing that they do very well, like subs or whatever it may be, or pizza or whatever. That's one of my favorite things about food. And that's also something we don't talk much about on the podcast. And that's why I'm glad we're doing this in-person thing, where we're not just talking about news and stuff. We're talking about everything, like it's the name of the podcast, food. But I actually wanted to share this. Everyone knows Gordon Ramsay, right? Famous celebrity chef, obviously. Almost a year ago, I guess, I actually went to his restaurant in Boston.
Oh, wow.
What's it called? Ramsay's Steak or Ramsay's Kitchen, I think it might have been called. But it was fantastic. We got an appetizer. We got this tuna thing with wontons. It was fantastic. I got a cheeseburger, fantastic cheeseburger. And I know a lot of you might be confused. You're going to go to this deluxe Gordon Ramsay restaurant and get a cheeseburger. It's not like crazy upscale. It's not like Michelin style restaurant. It's not like one of his fine dining restaurants. It's definitely on the nicer side of restaurants, but it's a place where you would definitely go ahead and order a burger because that's just the type of thing it is. It's a little more casual. There's not like a dress code requirement there, which I thought was really cool. And the food was fantastic. The whole atmosphere there was great. Dessert was fantastic. I forget exactly what I got, but the dessert there was great. It was a whole, it was a whole experience, and I really liked it. It was in Boston. I'd like to go to another one of his restaurants, maybe another one of his more upscale restaurants in the future, because I feel like that would just be a great experience. And I know he has a bunch of restaurants all over the world. He has a bunch in the UK, obviously. And I think that's just super cool. I'd like to go to Hell's Kitchen where he films a show. That'd be crazy. Because I watched one season of that. It was phenomenal. So yeah, I was really impressed by that restaurant, and Gordon Ramsay obviously being celebrity chef. It just made it an even cooler experience. But Will, with food, what is one of the best food-related experiences you've had? Whether it be like a food truck or something, or a festival or something that had good food, whatever.
There's a specific memory that comes to mind for me. Unfortunately, this memory has to do with the person who is pretending to be the third host of the podcast, who I'm actually not like, I am at a point where I am going to kind of I'm moving toward this age where I'm just going to totally ignore that person, because I feel like I feel like he wants our attention by doing the things that he's doing, and I just don't feel like giving him that type of attention anymore. So
Yeah.
as much as it pains me to bring him up, he is involved in one of the best food experiences that I've ever had. So I forget the name of the beach, but when I was out visiting you in Massachusetts one summer, we went to this beach near the place that we were staying. And the beach was awesome, but there was this little shack at the beach, and nothing about it looked special. It just looked like this kind of okay place. It actually looked like, you know, it might not even be open.
Yeah.
But it was. There was this woman who was there, and we ordered fries. The fries were arguably the best fries I have ever had in my entire life. And that, to me, is what makes the food experience so great. When you go to a place that you're not expecting to be great, and then it surpasses your wildest expectations. I don't think I've ever had a food experience that has shocked me more than that one.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of people say, the more, I don't want to say, the less upscale a restaurant looks, the better the food tends to be. And that's not always true, obviously, but there is definitely some truth to that. Some people are less focused on making their restaurant look beautiful, making everything so fancy, and more focused on just making high quality food. And that's definitely something I can respect, and something I think is very cool. And I think there's definitely some truth to that. The lower quality looking restaurants have better food, which is really cool. And something I briefly wanted to bring up here is one of my favorite food experiences of all time is hibachi. I love hibachi so much, and it's just so fun when they cook in front of you. It's less of a food thing, it's more of an experience. And that's something you have to appreciate. And it's like a show they're putting on, you know? They're throwing stuff at you, they're spraying. It's just a cool thing, and the food is always good. At least for me, every time I've had it, it's been pretty good, you know? So, yeah, I can definitely respect the hibachi places, and it looks like hard work. These guys have it down to a science. I see them chop stuff up so fast, and like I said, the food's always great. So yeah, that's one of my favorite food experiences that happens pretty often, kinda. I have a question. Have you ever tried sushi?
Oh yes, I mean, I must say, sushi, like, if you're talking like a great snack to have, there's a Whole Foods here in Napa is where my family does most of our shopping, and some of the sushi that they have there is fantastic. And if you're talking great snacks to have, getting the sushi that we sometimes get from the Whole Foods here in Napa is excellent. So
Yeah.
like if you're talking really enjoyable foods, sushi I think can be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you might not know, but what is your favorite type of sushi, or do you just not look at that, or do you have a?
I'm kind of open to trying different kinds.
Yeah.
How about you?
I like spicy tuna sushi. I don't know if I've ever had like super high quality sushi. Like you, I've gotten sushi from the supermarket. I went to Martha's Vineyard. I've been there a few times, and when I go, I get sushi there, and it's always fantastic. I usually get spicy tuna, and I'm getting sushi rolls, and this might not be traditional sushi. I feel like I know it's not, and if our podcast was bigger, I feel like we'd probably be getting a lot of hate for our lack of sushi knowledge. But I know like a lot of people like sashimi. I mean, I've tried it. I enjoy it, but a lot of restaurants near us, or near me at least, don't have sushi. Well, you're in California, so there's more food and stuff options there. But like sushi, I mean, it's just, at least where I am, there's just sushi rolls. Like I like the Philadelphia roll. That's salmon, I believe, and so sushi's raw, but a lot of the fish is raw in sushi. But they're obviously, I think the California roll is crab that's cooked, and there are obviously some cooked sushi rolls. Do you go with raw, or do you go with cooked sushi?
I believe raw tends to be
Okay,
the one that
yeah.
I get. How about you?
I think it's just, I feel like it doesn't matter how it's cooked, if it's cooked or not. A lot of people think sushi's disgusting because it's not cooked. In fact, one of my friends who is a avid enjoyer of, hear this, alligator meat, is afraid to try sushi, or just is
Afraid?
disgusted.
Wow, that's interesting.
I think he's tried it, but he's disgusted by it. But he'll eat alligator meat. Does that make any sense to you?
I would want to hear more of his reasoning for it. Like my specific question to him would be like, what about the sushi makes you afraid to eat it? I would want to ask him that question first before making any final assumptions on his opinion around that.
He could just be difficult to try to be different. That could be a possibility as well.
Who knows? You know.
Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, there are a lot of exotic foods like that, like alligator. I mean, I'd try it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try alligator. If someone's like making alligator at like a barbecue, yeah, I'll definitely try it, because that's like such a cool thing.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to like buy that from anywhere when I could just like get a pulled pork sandwich or a cheeseburger. I'm not going to do that. Unless I try it once and it's like my favorite food ever, then sure, I guess I'll get it. But yeah, I am so happy we're talking about food on this podcast, because it's just something we don't do very often. And
I feel like it fits into our title of the Everything Podcast, as well.
We have to talk about everything. And I mean, to wrap up this food segment, I just wanted to, what do you think I mean, it could be sushi, but what do you think your favorite food is? You could go with a specific type of sub, a sandwich, pizza, whatever.
That's a great question. Now, I will say this. When I'm answering your question, the food that I say may not be the healthiest food, but if you're asking me what's your favorite, I feel like I should answer that way. So I will say going out to breakfast, there have been some breakfast places I have been to in my life that have been fantastic.
Yeah, you've always been a fan of breakfast.
Mexican food. I also love. There's a Mexican food place here in Napa that I think that is one of my personal favorites. So there have been like if there's a good Mexican food place, I am all over that. But Cam, I must say, even though this is not something that I should have every day, and maybe this probably has to do with me being a teenager who's growing and needs the meat and stuff like that. But Cam, I must say, burgers and fries are something I just cannot resist, especially right now. If I go out to a restaurant and they have a great and they have a great burger, to me, it's just amazing. So even though burgers and fries are not something I would have every day, if you're asking me what's something that you just cannot resist right now, that would be my answer for you. I like
you can't go wrong. It has to be good, yeah.
A good burger to me,
because you can mess that up easy.
It's just like a good burger to me is just fantastic.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you, but like I said, you can definitely mess that up easy, and I actually think that plays a factor into how good the food is, because a food, if I like it so much, I want to be able to make it myself, you know. And if it's, because you gotta admit, I mean, if you're not like a decent cook, it's pretty easy to mess up a burger, right? So I think that's more of a possibility when you're going to different restaurants. You can undercook it, and I think that, I mean, obviously I like a good burger and fries, but I think that should play a factor into what you're putting as your favorite food. That's why, for me, I'm not going to go with the cheeseburger. And this is my favorite food. I guess is obviously ever changing. I mean, one day I could go with a pepperoni pizza. One day I could go with sushi. But I mean, I like Mexican food, but Chinese food is fantastic. It's just tough to pick. It's tough, but my favorite food, I guess, would probably, I'd have to go with sushi. I think at the end of the day,
sushi's really good. I agree.
At the end of the day, I'd have to go with sushi, because there are endless flavors, or different types you can get, different ways you can arrange it. Literally every place you go to get sushi, whether it be a supermarket, whether it be a fine dining restaurant, whether it be a restaurant on the water that just happens to serve sushi, everywhere you go, it's going to be prepared differently. They're going to have sashimi, some places aren't, and there's just going to be different ways to try it. And I think that's just something, it's unpredictable, I guess. It's an unpredictable food, but you also know what you're getting, and it's going to be good either way. So, except I don't like shrimp. I don't like shrimp in my sushi. That's one thing. I have to say that. My father purchased that once. He was like, "Yeah, you should give it a try." Tried it. Yeah, it was terrible. I don't even want to think about it. Maybe it was just the plate, because I got it from the supermarket. And maybe if I got like a shrimp type sushi from like a nicer restaurant, it'd be better. But the one I tried, it was rough, to say the least. But yeah, it's all about the experience of sushi. You get the chopsticks, which take practice to learn how to use. You got your soy sauce, your wasabi, your ginger to cleanse your palate. I think it's a whole experience, and I think it's so many layers, and I think it's just such a fantastic food, and I'm glad that as time goes on, it gets more recognition, and that more people are more open-minded to trying raw fish, essentially, and including myself. At first, I just wasn't interested in that at all, really, but I'm glad I've opened up more with that, because it's fantastic. It's so versatile. Next here, music. That was such a bad transition to our next topic.
It's okay.
But you know, it's okay. We're here in nature. That's just the way it is. Well, we'll go with the flow. So yeah, I wanted to talk about something, because we're going to talk about music for a little bit here. Vinyl records. Making a big comeback.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, me myself, I obviously wasn't alive when record players were in their prime, but they're coming back. I have myself a record player. I buy albums from artists I like. Like, if there's an album I'm really anticipating, I'll pre-order the vinyl. Like that's how big records are now, and I'm super happy about that, because I think it's just a great way to support the artists. You know. Because streaming, I mean, maybe not a lot of people will know, but streaming really, really, really hurts the artist, especially Spotify, which is unfortunate, because I am a Spotify user, because it's a great music streamer.
You can literally get it for free.
You can get it for free.
I mean, like, wow.
I pay for premium because I can't. Well, the thing with me, I listen to it on my phone, not just my computer.
Oh, yeah.
So, you can't pick songs on your phone if you download Spotify, just free, and you can almost shuffle playlists. So I pay for premium, and it's worth it for the most part. But it's just terrible that they're not supporting artists the way they should be. Apple, I mean, none of the streamers are particularly good at supporting the artists, but from what I've heard Apple Music is the best at it. Because I don't know why, but they just pay more per stream for the artist, and that's great. But I think there's no better way to support your favorite artist than buying vinyl, because I mean, not only do you have a physical copy of the album that you can take with you wherever, you got art with it. That's part of the vinyl experience. It's not just the album, it's the art, the posters that come with it. It actually kind of makes me mad when I get a new record and they don't have a poster in it. It actually kind of infuriates me, because that's part of the record experience nowadays, and that's why records are becoming so popular, because it's like merch, and some people use it just as display items to collect. They don't even play them, which I think is kind of dumb, but whatever, you can do whatever you want to do, I don't care. But I play my albums, and I just think it's a great way to support your artists. Do you have a record player?
We don't have a record player, but I will say this, Cam, like another way I feel like to support artists, but I feel like we're in an era now where this is not happening. I feel like we are moving out of the CD era when it comes to music.
Although,
but
they still sell CDs, the artists, yeah.
That is true, they do, but I must say, at my house, we have so many CDs. Like, my parents have gotten so many albums as CDs over the years, and we have so many of them at our house. And I personally, I think, getting the album as a CD and listening to it that way can be fantastic, and you
Especially
can
if
also
you have a good speaker system.
Exactly, and I think and sometimes you can also get a CD and it has a lyric sheet where you can open it up and read along word for word. So in terms of ways to support artists, I feel like getting a album as a CD can be fantastic, because I've had some great experiences with them over the years, and I hope that that's something that people don't forget about, because if you're talking a great way to listen to music, I think that's a fantastic way to do it.
I'm with you. It supports the artist, and it's fun because it's memorabilia for the artist. It's like I said, it's like merch, and you can play it wherever. You can play it in your car if your car has a CD player. My mom got a new car and it doesn't have a CD player, and I was very disappointed by that, because I mean, I don't listen to CDs as much as I listen to vinyl, but on occasion I'll listen to a CD. Oh, look at those birds. It's pretty loud.
Yes, the birds are certainly active right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they've the birds have taken it to another level at this moment.
This is getting extreme in nature. Wow. See, that's just part of doing a podcast out in nature. It's getting louder. It's getting louder. All right, I think we should simmer down a little bit. And then it gets louder. Then it gets louder.
Okay. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's like. All right. I swear it's getting louder. One thing I wanted to touch on the music subject is a lot of people pay a lot of money for these really expensive speakers. I went to my friend's house at a huge JBL speaker. I'd never seen one the size of that. It was the size of a classic boombox, but it was a huge JBL speaker. But I feel like, why buy that? I mean, I have an Alexa that it's one of the bigger ones that I use in my room, that I just casually listen to music on. I if I'm listening to an album that I don't have on vinyl or something, or if I just want to shuffle background music, that I'll use that. But if I really want to listen to an album with good speakers and stuff, I'll go in the car.
Oh, yeah.
And just plug your phone or whatever into the car, use the aux and just play whatever. That's the best sound system you're going to have, right? I mean, especially in the Jeep Compass that we have. For some reason, the bass is so strong in that car.
Yeah.
It's just great. So whenever I'd like to start listening to brand new albums in the car, that would be fantastic. The only problem with that is brand new albums drop at midnight, and I can't blast music in a car in the middle of my street at midnight, because I'm pretty sure we'd get some noise complaints. But yeah, a lot of people don't know, like, the best speakers you're gonna find are the car speakers. They just keep getting louder, these geese. This is ridiculous. Oh, all right, it stopped. Well, kinda. Anyway, I also briefly want to talk about, I mean, we talk about this on the Normal Everything podcast, but the artists we've been listening to, and I don't want to just talk about, like, now, but I guess we'll talk about some of our favorite artists of all time, and yeah, I guess just that. Well, who do you think your favorite artist of all time is?
Bruce Springsteen has to be my answer to that. I've listened to that guy for so many years now, and I've just had, you know, I've seen him in concert twice, and I have certain songs for me that come to mind with him, and I've just been thinking about them lately, and I'm like, these songs are phenomenal. Like, it is like a revelatory listening experience, listening to some of his songs. Like, I was listening to the song Darkest on the Edge of Town today, and I was just like, how could that song be any better?
That album is fantastic. It's grown
for
on me
sure.
So much.
And then just Bruce, also, you know, for me, it's his consistency.
Yeah, I agree.
And that he's been able to keep it up over so many, not years, but decades. And what I love is he could have easily, look, the E Street Band is so popular, he could have so easily said, you know, this is the winning formula, I'm gonna stick with them. Oh, no. He has made himself an artist who is clearly not just with the E Street Band. He's done solo albums. He did albums with the No Name Band. He did an album with the Seeger Sessions Band. He did an album with what I think he called the Night Shift Band with Only the Strong Survive a couple years back. He's done multiple genres. Western Stars is kind of almost like a country type album. He's done, you know, soul music with Only the Strong Survive. He's done, you know, folk music with the Seeger Sessions, obviously rock and roll with the E Street Band. But I respect, obviously, his consistency and how he's been able to keep it up over so many years. But what I mostly give him credit for is I feel like he could have so easily said the E Street Band is the winning formula. I'm just gonna stick with them. This is what's gotten me gotten me the most success. Oh, no. He has branched out so far beyond that, and I feel like he could have so easily said, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with the winning formula. I'm going to stick with what's working, but he didn't. And I love that he did that, and I respect him so much for it.
Yeah, you can definitely respect that. That's one thing I love. When an artist completely redefines themselves, and I guess Bruce hasn't ever completely redefined himself. Yeah, he's tapped into country, he's tapped into, I don't know, pop, he's tapped into rock, you know, he's done all that, but it's never been like a hardcore switch up like some other artists have done, and I like when both things happen, and an example of that is I guess he's still a rapper Lil Yachty. We just want to thank all of you for watching this episode of the Everything Podcast. We're gonna have more stuff because this is Everything Week. We're gonna have a bunch of content this week. 5 videos, podcasts, more of this stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.